Next, we have my inner 3-year-old investigator would really love to take up a new hobby like tennis. But my 10-year-old, inner 10-year-old scientist is livid at the suggestion. I've had a difficult relationship with sports my whole life, and I still have some fearfulness and shame there. How can I soothe my 10-year-old so that I can take the leap and join a local tennis club? I'm also not sure who to go with. INFJ. Okay, that's a great question. So just a little bit of background into that. So the 3-year-old inner child, the investigator, of course, is outward sensing in the INFJ. So the outward sensing is all about physical activity, having fun with the body, being out there, doing outdoorsy stuff and connecting with other people. So super important to have that kind of connection to nature. But it's also like what can happen, and I think what might have happened in this case with you is that perhaps the 10-year-old is trying to control the situation because the 10-year-old is not a naturally extroverted part of you. Of course, it's an introverted part of you and also a thinking part of you. So your 10-year-old inner child might think in the past and go, you know what, I've never been good at sport. So I don't know, I don't think we should do this because there's all kinds of dangers that we could go into if we kind of go getting over our heads type thing. So really understandable. And yeah, I hear you. This is a very normal challenge for INFJs at times. The 10-year-old needs soothing, you're right. And for that purpose, it's really good to remind the 10-year-old inner child that, in fact, even though they think that they know everything about how things are going to go and what's going to happen, and you're not going to enjoy it again, and you've never been sporty, and blah, 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 the whole, just write down whatever the kind of the complaints are. When you go into that, they need soothing for that. They need to be soothed for those fears of not being perfect. And the best way of soothing those fears of not being perfect is to take a learner's kind of an attitude. So become extremely coachable. Say, I'm a learner in this and I'm here to fail forward. I'm here to fail so that I can learn. Because of course another word for failure is learning. So when you take that approach with your tennis, now a lot of the problems or a lot of the challenges that your 10-year-old might have, or a lot of the criticisms that they might have about your 3-year-old wanting to do this could be soothed because they're like, oh, okay, we can learn something. We can learn something new because the 10-year-old does love learning. So that's what I would say. Yeah, go into kind of whatever happened in the past, ask the 10-year-old, what are they afraid of, and then acquire a learning or a learning attitude or becoming coachable. I was just having a meeting with my mentor, one of my mentors, Kevin, today. And Kevin works with the Fortune 500 and Fortune 50 companies. And he's helping me with my business side of things, as in bringing this message out there, because in the background, we've been helping thousands of INFJs and INFPs all around the world already with this work. And it would be such a tragedy to not get this out there to everybody who needs it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm working with a business coach and such a high level business coach as well, because we're in this for impact. There's so much power that INFJs and INFPs have that is going unrealized and unrecognized, that we want to be able to, show the individuals that power, that they have the power, and then start exercising that power. And we were having a session with him today, myself and Lisa, my managing partner, and something that Kevin said on the call was, you are so much more coachable than most of the Fortune 500 CEOs. And that was so nice, because I have been it was so nice to hear, because I have been not striving for that, because I am naturally a curious person, so it is a natural state of being for me to want to understand things better. But what it really did for me was to highlight the values that I hold close to my heart, which is, being open to learning things that you don't know about yet, because everything that you learn will have some transferable skills. So people who are sports people, let's just say you're a tennis player, you want to do maybe horse riding at the same time, even though those two forms of sport don't actually supposed to have anything to do with each other, but there are transferable skills like hand-eye coordination or balance that you can bring into your tennis. So that's why a lot of people, athletes, cross-train. And the same is true for anything else that you want to achieve in life, or your 10-year-old wants to achieve in life. By them playing tennis, they'll be better off at whatever it is that they want to do. So that's how I would present it to that 10-year-old. And I get it. It's scary. It's scary to learn new stuff, especially if, you've had a scary childhood or a difficult childhood, and you've struggled through your life, and it kind of feels like, oh, another thing I have to learn. So, but if you can try and take a playful approach to it, then you got this. You got this, and amazing things that you don't even know about yet will come out of it. So I'd love to hear how you go with that. And you were saying, I'm not also not sure who to go with. So I'm in terms of the tennis club. So what I do when I am looking at the facility or a club to join is I actually do my research. And this is something that you can harness your 10-year-old in as well. Come up with some questions that you want to ask the club, like what's the social side of it like? What's the age range? What are people's general interests, the members who are there? What can they tell you about how long the members stay in the club? Those kinds of things, so that you can do a little bit of homework before you make a decision. So that's what I would say. Let me know how you go with that. That's so exciting. Well, my 3-year-old is like super excited. My 10-year-old is like, yes, I gave up on tennis once already, which I did. Incidentally, I played tennis once when I was in my teenage years, and then I had no control over the ball. It was just going everywhere, and I was like, yeah, never doing this again. Fast forward like 30 years, and where we live, we have a tennis court. And now that there's no pressure to get it perfect, when I can go like, I can just go and learn different things, I'm actually really good at tennis. Sorry, I'm not good at tennis. I am good at tennis for somebody who knows nothing about tennis or has played it less than 10 times. That's just put it into perspective. Okay.